Here is a third example about solving problems with Venn diagrams. So a city has 3 football teams in the National League, A, B, and C. In the last season, 20% of the city's population saw Team A play, 24% saw Team B, 28% saw Team C. Of these, 4% saw both A and B, 5% saw both A and C, 6% saw both B and C, and 1% saw all the teams play. So using a Venn diagram, we're going to find the percentage of the city's population for those following things. So the first thing I need to do is I need to draw a Venn diagram. This is going to be a Venn diagram with 3 regions in it because I have 3 different categories. So let me start with my drawing. I usually do 2 circles at the top and 1 at the bottom, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to call this A, this is B, and this is C. All right. Think about this for a second. When you're talking about percentages, what is the universe? Question mark. If you said 100, you were correct. Because 100% would represent the universe in this case, and everything else is going to be built off of that. All right. So as we did in the first example, we're going to work backwards from the most specific to the least specific. So let's start here with 1% saw all 3 teams play. So the area of my Venn diagram that represents all 3 things happening at the same time is here in the center. So I'm going to put a 1 there in the center. Then going back more, 6% saw both B and C. Well, the area that represents B and C is the place where those 2 overlap. So we're talking about this area here. It's that almond in between B and C. Imagine that A wasn't there, it would just be the almond. But 1% is already spoken for. So we are going to subtract that 1% from the 6%, and we end up with 5%. So notice that the whole almond represents 6, and inside that little triangle thing on the inside is still 1. Okay, still working backwards, 5% saw both A and C. Well, A and C is represented by this almond here. If 5% is supposed to be the whole almond, 1% is already spoken for, so we subtract and we would have 4 in that space. Now we work backwards again. 4% saw both A and B. A and B is this almond here. 1% is already spoken for, so that means the leftover 3% goes here. Okay, still working backwards. We know that 28%, let me get rid of some of this stuff. 28% saw Team C. So if we look at Team C, which is this whole circle here, we can see that there's some numbers already in there. So for C, C is supposed to be equal to 28%. And we already have a 4, and we already have a 1, and we already have a 5. So we're actually going to subtract that 10, those 10 people, these are equal to 10, these 10 people from 28, and we get 18, and 18 people is going to be the representatives for only being C. But notice that it didn't say 28% only saw Team C, or only 28% saw Team C. It says 28% saw Team C. So that's that whole circle, and we have to subtract it out. All right, let's go with 24% saw Team B. So that's over here. Notice that we already have some of those values spoken for. So if we had 24%, we're going to subtract the 3, the 1, and the 5 from there. So we need to subtract 9 from 24 to get that 15% of the people who saw B saw only B. All right, and then last one, nope, not last one, but 20% saw the city's population, 20% of the city's population saw team A. So again, use the same process. This whole circle, the whole thing, would represent 20, but we already have 8% spoken for, so that means 12 should go out here. All right, now remember that your universe represents 100%. So we need to figure out what's left over and what needs to go outside in the universe. So using my calculator, I'm just going to add all those things up. 12 plus 3 plus 15 plus 4 plus 1 plus 5 plus 18. And when I do that, 12 plus 3 plus 15 plus 4 plus 1 plus 5 plus 18, I get 58. So that means 58% of the population watches football, and what percent of the population doesn't watch football? That would be 42. So 42 people are out here, or 42% are out here in the universe. Cool? All right, so we filled in our Venn diagram. So now we can go ahead and answer the questions. Question A says, how many people, or what percentage of the city's population saw only team A? Only team A is this region here. So we know that 12% of the population saw only team A. Question B, what percent of the population saw team A or team B, but not team C? So team A or team B, that would be everything. How do I do this? That would be all A or B is all of this, right? But we're not including the ones that are C also. So that being said, it's everything like this, like the Mickey Mouse ears, I guess we could call that. So we'll add all of those up. 12 plus 3 plus 15, that equals 30. So 30% of the population watched teams A and B, but not C. Cool. Sorry, I lost my circle. And then lastly, what part of the population didn't see any teams play? Well, we already figured that out. That was 42%. Cool? Good work.